But over the years, building businesses, now having sold a business, I've learned a couple of things, and it's going to help you with the question that you've asked, man. So first time, I'm going to show you this, because when I learned this, my life changed. This, literally, my life changed. Watch this. When I learned this here, comrades, life was amazing. Okay. Okay. First time entrepreneurs focus and obsess on product. If you're talking to a person who's in the business for the first time and they tell you how amazing their product is, it generally is because they're in business for the first time. They're first-time entrepreneurs. So they believe product differentiation is going to make them succeed. Hey, I make these markers and these pens. They last longer. You know, the casing is not made out of plastic. It's made out of soluble paper, so it doesn't damage the environment. The inputs are made out of eco-friendly stuff. They'll tell you all the product features, because for that entrepreneur, they think a product feature is what makes businesses successful. And it's easy to see, right? I often check my timeline on Twitter, and I see how many entrepreneurs are posting products. So they post stuff like, check out my new hoodie, check out my new hat, check out my new check. The minute an entrepreneur posts product, I know that they're a first-time entrepreneur, because they genuinely believe product differentiation is what helps entrepreneurs succeed. It's not true. That's why you will find a company that makes a product that's worse making more money. Have you ever had your aunt like make amazing acha and you don't understand why your aunt is not a billionaire? Like, she makes the acha that's more amazing than the acha you're buying at the Pick and Pay. So how come your aunt is not a billionaire? Because product feature doesn't equal success. It's just a product, right? Second-time entrepreneurs. Guys, like, if you remember nothing else from my masterclass, just remember this. Second-time entrepreneurs focus on distribution. So the second-time entrepreneur knows a great product doesn't win. Getting that product in the hands of the consumer is what makes me win. So, you know, I hear stuff like, we really need to support, you know, small black businesses. Sure, if you really want to support small black businesses, do you know what you should do? Put pressure on retailers to distribute the products of small black businesses. Because the idea that you should expect consumers to drive into the places where the small black businesses are, it's just not sustainable. So what we should actually have, this is my own idea, by the way, what we should actually have, and I think this is a great idea for the guys at Proudly SA to take up. I think every single retailer in South Africa, Woolworths, Checkers, ShopRite, Pick and Pay, all of them, should have 3 or 4 aisles dedicated purely to Proudly South African stuff. Purely to that. And we only stock Proudly South African stuff. Why? Because if you give distribution to local businesses, then that product can be sold. You ever wanted to buy a product, but the guy says, you know, buy it on WhatsApp and then I'll courier it to you. It's going to take 14 days. No, I want it now. So what do you buy? You buy the stuff that's available on the shelf. Make sense? So the reason, so this is what people don't understand. Like, if you want success, build distribution. Distribution. What are the most successful companies in the world? What do they do? You're watching this on Facebook. What do you think Facebook is? It's a distribution warehouse. I'm here in wherever we are. You are wherever you are. But I'm distributing this content to you on Facebook. So why is Facebook a valuable company? It's distribution. Why is Amazon a valuable company? Because I go on Amazon and I buy this thing on Amazon and they deliver it in 24 hours. Distribution. What's Checkers? Checkers doesn't make stuff. You ever seen a Checkers warehouse? You ever seen a Checkers farm, factory? No. They're distribution. Woolworths, distribution. Pick and Pay, distribution. So if you want a great business, you don't focus on product. And I'm not saying product is not important. Distribution, 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 distribution. It's clever, eh? I'm telling you guys, dangerous. Then, so second-time entrepreneurs, you'll generally see. So this is the guy who's already built a business. He's failed, and he's like, why did I fail? My product was good, but I couldn't sell it. They start building for distribution, right? Third-time entrepreneurs, or if you usually see entrepreneurs who've exited their business and have sold a portion of it, one of the things you'll notice is they don't focus as much on distribution. They start focusing on value chain. I wrote a thread yesterday on Twitter, go check out the thread. And I was talking a bit about the value chain of supply that goes into the restaurant sector, right? And the point I made there was that people who don't understand why they should stand with restaurants are probably not paying attention. So I'll show you what this means in a minute. Check this out. So the restaurant is here. You go to the restaurant to buy your food. Restaurants don't make the ingredients, which means the restaurant buys its ingredients here. The person they buy the ingredients doesn't make the ingredients either. That person buys that ingredients there. That person buys that ingredients there. Show you what that means. So if you're in a restaurant today and you're buying, you have a breakfast with eggs on it, restaurants don't run egg farms, which means there was a logistics company here that took the eggs from the packaging company here that got the eggs from the egg farm here. So if you don't understand why helping the restaurant is important, you probably don't understand this value chain. The eggs are made somewhere, are packaged, moved, and consumed. So a lot of us tend to focus here on the consumption end, right? So what the point I'm making is great entrepreneurs, like phenomenal entrepreneurs, start focusing on value chain. You'll start to see them move further up the value chain. Now, why is this important? I just want to show you something very quickly. So I could start a business tomorrow to build restaurants, or I could start a business tomorrow farming eggs. And then it doesn't matter if I own the restaurant or not. As long as people are going to restaurants, they're always going to need eggs. Do you know that there are companies today that you're buying their stuff and you don't even know they make that stuff? You don't even know the company exists. But you're consuming their stuff every day. So you buy mayo at the shop. Where do you think they got the eggs to make that mayo? Where did they get the milk from? Who made the milk? You don't think about that. It's like it's built into the ingredients of the product. Your brain doesn't think about that. Or you're at the local store and you're buying shoes. Okay, it's a great shoe. Let's assume it's made in South Africa. Where did they get the sole to make the shoe? Because I promise you now, shoe making companies don't make soles. They buy the sole. Where did they get the sole from? And a sole manufacturer used rubber. Where did they get the rubber from? The rubber manufacturer used polyethylene, plastic, yada yada. Where did they get the polyethylene from? The plastic from? Do you know that if you use sunlight, or you use Handy Andy, or you use bleach, you are a Sasol customer? Because even if you use Vaseline, Vaseline is petroleum jelly. Where do you think they get the active agent of petroleum from? From Sasol. So you are a Sasol customer. But most of you have probably never been to the Sasol head office. Why? Because Sasol is down here on the value chain. Yeah? Yes, I'm clever, man. If you want to understand this, watch Narcos. Just for the business lessons, not for the ethical lessons. But like, go watch Narcos, and one of the things you'll learn about what made Pablo Escobar so powerful was Pablo Escobar stopped competing on retail. He went all the way down to the production of where the cocaine happened, and then he owned the entire value chain. So where they made it, where they cooked it, how they moved it, every part. By the time you were buying it, he was supplying every single part, including the packets that you were buying it in. Yes. Okay, so product, distribution, value chain, and then if you want to be a billionaire, like a proper billionaire, you build a business based on ecosystem. What is an ecosystem? It means that the components they use in the value chain so that they can make the product all are in your ecosystem. What makes Bill Gates a billionaire is he built Microsoft as an ecosystem. So Microsoft is an operating system, right? And so when you're building something and you want to use it on the Microsoft platform, you have to make it compliant with his operating system. Android, operating system. What makes Apple Apple? It's the fact that on Apple you can listen to music, you can watch content. So even Amazon, what did Jeff Bezos do? He's built an entire ecosystem. And on that ecosystem, he controls the value chain. So you can buy books, you can watch content, you can do all sorts of things. Now he's got Amazon warehouse services, right? So even your building of your technology platform, you can build it on an Amazon warehouse. So he controls the ecosystem, which means the people trying to compete with him have to use him. Does that make sense? I mean, the technologists in this room will know this. The reason Teams is growing faster than Slack is not because Teams is better than Slack, it's because Teams is a Microsoft product. And so on Teams, the minute you have a Microsoft license, you get access to, Teams. Whereas Slack literally has to sell you their product first. Okay, so the answer to your question is very simple, very, very simple. It's, if you want to build your business, try and move further up the value chain and see if you can just start moving towards distribution. So you've got a great farm. I love your farm, love the story. I think it's an amazing, amazing platform. But I think something that you should really just start thinking about is how can you distribute it a bit better? Okay, cool. Are we done? Have we got one final question? I'm done to ask the question, how do you distribute this? You can't. I mean, it's a good question. Danumaya asks the question, it's a he or she, I'm not sure. He asks, how do you distribute a service? Well, I mean, it depends really. You can't distribute a service, but you can deliver. You can't distribute a service. But if you can figure out how to make that service independent of the service provider, you can distribute that. So a lawyer can't, distribute themselves. But if a lawyer was able to take all of the knowledge that they had about law and put it in a system that you can access, and then anytime you had questions about that, you went into that system and not necessarily the lawyer, then you can distribute it. Does that make sense? So you have to build a platform that allows people to access your information and your knowledge. All right. Well, I think that's the end. This is our first masterclass live, on the live, in our lives. I think this is so cool. This is absolutely so cool. And to everybody who's joined us, I want to say thank you. We jumped, oh wow, we're 2,000 questions. I mean, that's 2,000 lives on the Facebook. I don't know how many others on the other platforms, but I want to say to all of you that came through and joined us, thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. We see you. Make sure that you go to subscribe on the channel. Follow us on all of the social media platforms. You'll see more information coming up about some of the stuff that we're doing. Follow the My Growth Fund channel. Go see the work that the team at My Growth Fund is doing. Thank you to the amazing people at Huawei and Old Mutual for making all of this happen. We see you. We appreciate you. I'm not sure if we're going to do another one of these, so why don't we do this? If you think we should do another one of these, exactly the way we've done it, leave me a comment, tag me, and go, yo, hit us up. Let's keep this live. And then I'm going to just take purely your feedback and see if we should do another one of these. I would, though, if we're going to do another one of these, make sure that we included people as other guests as well who are experts in the space, right? So that's it. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. It's touching on just on 12 o'clock, a great time for us to end it. I want to say thank you to the amazing people at Just Palm, the crew who made this available. Let's hear the hand clap, guys. They can't see you, but we see you. So Just Palm made this available. We appreciate you. To everybody at My Growth Fund, to everybody in my team, Debbie, Tandanani, who I was screaming at this morning, and everybody else, thank you so much for the work. We love you. We appreciate you. And, of course, to our sponsors for making this happen. Love you lots. Have an amazing Saturday, boys. Cheers.